them. Okay, so you got the handouts for ancient and medieval India. Yes, so I have sent somewhere around some 6 handouts. Okay, please do the same here too. Okay, take a printout, it would be more helpful for you. Okay, I'll dictate some additional points here and there. So if you make a separate note for them, it will become a little difficult for you guys while you are revising again. So I have shared some 6 handouts. So this stretch, what we are going to do is we are going to cover both ancient and medieval India and art and culture. Okay, 2 sections we are going to cover as part of this lecture series, art and culture and ancient and medieval India. So right now I have sent only ancient and medieval handouts. So after that I'll send the art and culture handouts too. So you take a printout and write on them. Then apart from that, when it comes to the reference book, I think I already told you guys that you have to buy this book called Poonam Dalal Dahiya. Okay, so just have a look at the book according to my class lecture. Okay, so we will have a lot more information in the classroom lecture and in the handouts when compared to the textbook. So we will try and remember some of them, because primarily these 2 sections, ancient and medieval India and art and culture put together, in prelims we will get minimum of some 7 to 8 questions, sometimes even 10 questions also will come from this section. Okay, so I told you, if you remember the breakup, usually modern India, history carries nearly 20 questions in prelims, UPSC prelims, of which nearly 10 are modern India, 10 are combined ancient and medieval India and art and culture section. So 10 questions in prelims you will get. Then apart from the 10 questions in prelims, what happens is in mains, okay, art and culture, usually it carries nearly 25 marks to 35 marks weightage. Okay, every year without fail they will ask minimum of 115 marker, 110 marker. Sometimes 215 markers also have been asked from art and culture. So that is the case, and ancient and medieval India is not there for mains. We are going to study it primarily from the perspective of prelims alone. Are you following what I am trying to say? So prelims alone, we will focus on prelims part, but that doesn't mean that you can't write a mains answer based on the lecture. You will be able to write, but here the ancient and medieval part will be a little more factual. Okay, so some facts will be there, some narrative will be there. So we will discuss it in the same fashion. So this is the significance of this section. 10 question for prelims plus some 25 to 35 marks for mains is the weightage for this section. So along with that, I think most of you might be knowing that history is a common subject for all government examinations. It's not just about UPSC. In every exam you find questions from ancient medieval India. So that is the reason why this section is important for us. Is it making sense, sir? Now, first and foremost, before starting the discussion on ancient and medieval India, my thing is, okay, first and foremost, I want to discuss the timeline of ancient and medieval India. So this timeline, okay, so this is very, very important, because these days there are many questions which are asking us to arrange the events in chronological order. That is the reason why I have created 3 separate flow charts, one for North India, one for Deccan region and one for South India. So 3 separate flow charts, 3 separate timelines I have provided, and I have included them in the handout too, but you can draw it on a sheet, okay, for better clarity. And I will give brief introduction about each and every age also, okay, while I am discussing about the timeline. Is it all right? So you take a sheet, white sheet, and put it horizontally. Okay, if you want to draw this, okay, put it horizontally. So based on that, let us discuss about this ancient and medieval timeline first. Okay, timeline first we will discuss. Then after that we will go into the actual lecture. So when it comes to ancient India, okay, so in fact, so we might be knowing that. So the earth formation, it occurred roughly around 4.5 billion years ago, right? Yes. Okay, so but the story of human civilization or human culture, okay, or the human evolution, it roughly started from 1 million years ago. Okay, 1 million years ago. So I have to change the. So the story of humans, it roughly started from 1 million years ago, and the period from 1 million years ago to, okay, roughly 10,000 BC. So draw this down. Okay, so everyone, even for the people with the handouts too, you can draw it down because it gives more clarity. Okay, so 1 million years ago to 10,000 BC, okay, it is the period of, okay, roughly this is the time period of, okay, the stone ages, particularly the Paleolithic age. Okay, in fact, history is divided into 3 sections, sir. Okay, the first section is called as prehistory, the second section is called as proto-history, and the third one is known as historical period. So when it comes to the prehistorical period is the period when we don't have any written records for the period, then it is known as prehistoric period. Please write it down. No written records means prehistory. Okay, prehistory. Whereas the second stage is known as proto-historical period. Proto-historical period is the second phase. When it comes to the proto-historical period, this is the time period when there are written records available for this time period. But the problem with these written records is we are unable to decipher these written records, then it becomes proto-history. Undeciphered written records form part of this history which is known as proto-history. This is the second phase. Then after this second phase, the third phase is the historical phase. When we have written records and we are able to decipher them, then it is known as historical period. Three time periods, sir. Okay, one is prehistory, second one is proto-history, the third one is historical period. Historical period means written records are there and we are able to decipher them. So naturally the period between 1 million years ago to 10,000 BC or the Paleolithic age, it will form part of the prehistoric period only, right? Okay, so we don't have any written records for this period. So proto and historical period. So three are there. Did you write them? So now when it comes to the Paleolithic age, the time period is 1 million years ago to 10,000 BC is the time period for Paleolithic age. Here the term lithic means stone. Paleo means old. So that is the reason why this age is also known as Old Stone Age in history. Okay, Old Stone Age in history. So and during this period, the people used to use huge stone boulders. Okay, and they used to chip off the stones and create sharp weapons with them. So this is the Old Stone Age for us. Okay, so more about it we will learn later, but just timeline mein, Paleolithic mein, it is called as Old Stone Age, where large stone tools were used by people in order to hunt. Is it making sense, sir? Then after 10,000 BC, from 10,000 BC to roughly around roughly around some 6,000 BC is the period of Mesolithic age. See, the time periods, it vary from region to region, but broadly across India, this is a standard accepted timeline. So 10,000 BC to 6,000 BC, for 4,000 years, we have this age which is known as Mesolithic age. Meso means what? Middle. Lithic means stone. So this age is called as Middle Stone Age, sir. Middle Stone Age. And the most characteristic feature of this Mesolithic age is the usage of tools which are known as microliths. Okay, microliths are the stone tools which are very small in size, are known as microlith. Usually they are less than 5 centimeters in their size. Earlier they used to use large stone tools. Now they went for small stone tools which are known as microliths. Is it making sense, sir? Then after this 6,000 BC, okay, from 6,000 BC to roughly till 4,000 BC, for nearly 2,000 years again, we have an age which is known as Neolithic age, sir. Neolithic age is the next age, okay, and Neolithic means new stone age, it is called as new stone age. And here the most prominent character is the usage of tools which are known as polished tools. Okay, so the next stage is Neolithic, and the most prominent stone tools which are used are polished stone tools. So from big stone tools to microliths to polished tools. So this way the stone ages, they evolved from one to another, sir. Is it making sense? Then after this, the next age which started is known as Chalcolithic age. Okay, Chalcolithic age means the age in which, chalco means copper. Okay, copper and stone tools, both of them are used together. That is the reason why this age is known as Chalcolithic age. Copper plus stone tools. Copper and stone tools together are used. It is known as Chalcolithic age. And in this Chalcolithic age itself, we have a civilization in India which is known as Indus Valley civilization. Within the Chalcolithic age, we have a civilization called Indus Valley civilization. Okay, and this civilization, it lasted between roughly 2500 BC to 1750 BC. Okay, exact timeline you have to write, 2500 BC to 1750 BC. So 1500 years there was only copper tool. Then a civilization called Indus Valley civilization has emerged, whose timeline is roughly 2500 BC to 1750 BC. And this Indus Valley civilization is also known as Bronze Age civilization. Please write it down. Okay, in fact, bronze is also a derivative metal of copper, right? Yes, it is an alloy of copper. So that is the reason why it is also classified as the Chalcolithic age itself. And here we have the Indus Valley civilization, which is also known as Bronze Age civilization of India. And when it comes to this Bronze Age civilization, see, for the first time we are using the term civilization here. Okay, civilization is in fact an advanced form of culture, and Indus Valley civilization is the first urban civilization of India. Okay, it is considered to be the first urban civilization of India. Okay, where prominent cities and towns were built by the people of Indus Valley civilization. Okay, so this is the phase which is known as the first urban phase in history. Then after this, from 1750 BC to roughly 1500 BC, nearly for 250 years, we have a void in history. Okay, void means what? Okay, we don't have any proper evidences at this point of time. Void in history. Okay, the urban civilization of Indus Valley people, it had declined. Then thereafter, okay, we don't have any proper archaeological evidences for the period between 1750 BC to 1500 BC. Is it all right? So 250 years void. Then thereafter this void in 1500 BC, what happened is from 1500 BC to 1000 BC. Okay, the next time phase is 1500 BC to 1000 BC. Some students are unable to see it. Now is it fine? Okay, 1500 BC to 1000 BC is the next phase, and this phase is the start of Iron Age in India. Okay, Iron Age. Iron Age in India. See, slowly from stone to metal. Metal may copper to bronze, bronze to iron. Okay, this is the evolution, and this Iron Age from 1500 BC to 1000 BC is known as the early Vedic period. It is known as the early Vedic period. Okay, and at this time, many migrant groups from northwest of India, they entered into the Indian subcontinent. Okay, so and early Vedic period is between 1500 BC to 1000 BC is the period of early Vedic age. And during this period itself, okay, the prominent Vedas, okay, that like the Rig Veda, it was composed during the early periods of this age only. Okay, so from here on, we have historical period, right? Because Indus Valley civilization is proto-history. So its script is undecipherable. That is the reason why it is considered as proto-history. From Vedic period on, we see the historical age in Indian history, sir. Okay, so Rig Veda is the first textual tradition which has started here. So from here on, we have the recorded evidences too. So Rig Vedic period, so early Vedic period is this 1500 BC to 1000 BC. But during this time, the people did not know about agriculture, or they did not practice agriculture to a large extent. So primarily the early Vedic period, civilization is, or culture is, a pastoralist culture. This is important, you write it down. So its culture is pastoralist. Pastoralist means what? Animal rearing is the most important activity. Yes. Pastoralism means what? Animal rearing. Okay, animal rearing is the most important activity, and this culture is known as pastoralist culture. Then after 1000 BC, what happened is from 1000 BC to 600 BC. See, all the timelines are important. This period is known as later Vedic period. Okay, later Vedic period is this period. Okay, and during later Vedic period, again, okay, the people or the Vedic Aryans, they started learning about agriculture once more. Okay, and here, okay, a concept by the name of Janapada based kingdoms, they emerged, sir. Okay, Janapada period, it is called as Janapada. Okay, territorial kingdoms are known as Janapadas here, and that is the reason this age is known as later Vedic period. Later Vedic period, and you have the kingdoms which are known as Janapadas during this period. Then after this later Vedic phase, the next phase in history is from 600 BC to 300 BC, sir. Is the next age. 600 BC to 300 BC, and this 300 years is known as age of Mahajanapadas. Okay, so already there are Janapadas are there in later Vedic period. They are territorial kingdoms. Now they became large territorial kingdoms which are known as Mahajanapadas. Okay, empires. And at this point of time, in total, there are nearly 16 empires in India, large territorial states. 16 states were present. Okay, age of Mahajanapadas. And this 600 BC to 300 BC is a very important phase in Indian history, primarily because during this 300 years of phase itself, this age is also known as age of Buddha. Okay, so it is known as the age of Buddha or age of Mahavira. Okay, age of Buddha and age of Mahavira, and this is also the age which is known as the age of intellectual ferment. Intellectual ferment. Ferment means thought. Intellectual thought is the most characteristic feature of this age. Okay, most of the prominent philosophies of India, they emerged during this 300 years of phase. Intellectual ferment. Intellectual ferment. F-E-R-M-E-N-T. Intellectual ferment. Intellectual thought. Okay, intellectual reflection it is called as. Ferment means what? The process of fermentation you might be knowing, wherein you keep some things aside, then after some period of time they will get converted into a different thing, right? So because of which reason, in fact, this age is very, very important. That is the reason why it is known as age of intellectual ferment. Then after 300 BC, from 300 BC to 200 BC is the age of Mauryans. Okay, age of Mauryans is 300 BC to roughly till 200 BC is the age of Mauryans. Okay, and the Mauryans were able to defeat all the 16 Mahajanapadas and create a all India empire for the first time. Okay, they were the ones who created an all India empire. All India empire was created by them. Okay, large territorial state was established by them. Okay, very good administrative system has evolved by this time, and it is a very, very important age in ancient times. So we need to learn about their administration, economics, society. Okay, every aspect we need to know about the age of Mauryans. So we might be knowing about Chandragupta Maurya, Ashoka Maurya, and Bindusara. So all of these are important kings of this dynasty. So we will discuss about them. Is it all right, sir? Then after 200 BC, the period between 200 BC to 300 AD, sir. So now again we are learning about nearly 500 years here, 200 BC to 300 AD. So this period is known as age of foreign invasions, sir. Age of foreign invasions. Okay, when numerous foreign groups, foreign ruling groups from northwest of India, they entered into India. This is the second age of incursions into India. First is the Vedic age. The second age is this. Is it all right? So age of foreign invasions it is called as. And during this time, 4 ruling dynasties. Indo-Greeks is the first one. Write it down. Indo-Greeks. Second one is Parthian. Parthian. Third is Shaka. Fourth is this group which is known as Indo-Greek, Parthian, Shaka and Kushan. Okay, these are the 4 ruling dynasties which came into India. Okay, because of which reason only it is known as age of foreign invasions, and this age is also known as age of mercantilism. Remember mercantilism? What is the meaning of mercantilism? Where merchants dominate, the age is known as mercantilism, right? So that is the reason why, because of the dominance of traders during this age is also known as age of mercantilism. Okay, so trade wise this is the most dominant period. Then apart from age of mercantilism, this age is also known as dark ages in Indian history. We will talk about why they are known as dark ages later. But they are also known as dark ages, dark age. A dark age primarily because it was a time of crisis for particularly Brahmanism and Hindu culture ke liye this was an age of crisis. That is the reason why in Dharma Shastras this age is known as dark age. Kali Yuga. Okay, so Kali Yuga is dark age, right, according to Dharma Shastras, and this period is known as the dark age. Okay, why, what happened during this period we will learn later. So this is the post-Mauryan age. Then after this, the next period in history is from 300 AD to 550 AD is the next time period. So again 250 year period stretch, 300 AD to 550 AD. This age is known as the Guptan age. Okay, Guptan age, okay, where the imperial Guptas, they again established an all India empire once more, and this Guptan age is also known as golden age in Indian history. Write all the names. Okay, golden age it is called as. Okay, this age is also known as classical age in Indian history. Classical age in Indian history, golden age, classical age. What is the meaning of a classic, sir? Not timeless. Okay, so if classic means any art form, if it finds its best expression during a particular age, that thing is known as classic, sir. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? It means that any art form for that matter, it achieves its best status and it becomes an inspiration for all future arts, then it is known as classical. Are you following what I'm trying to say? So, and here in Guptan age, we find the best expression of drama. You might be knowing about Kalidasa. He belongs to the same age. So, in fact, the best expression of dance, drama and music, all three of them, they are found during Guptan age. And in fact, the classical traditions of India, they come from the Guptan age itself, sir. So, there is a person here called Bharata Muni who wrote a book called Natya Shastra, which forms the basis for Indian drama, Indian dance and Indian music. All three traditions of performing arts in India, they come from this period. Then apart from that, this is the age for development of Nagara architecture, which later evolved into a full-fledged style in itself. So, Nagara architecture also started during the Guptan age, sir. So, many new improvements in art and culture, architecture, sculpture, all of these things are done during the Guptan age. That is the reason why it is also known as classical age of Indian history. Is it all right? Then along with that, this is also known as the age of Hindu revival, sir. Okay, the next thing about them is this age is also known as the age of Hindu revival. Hindu revival, okay, Hindu revival, or this is also known as the age of a form of Hinduism called Puranic Hinduism. Right. Age of Hindu revival or age of Puranic Hinduism is the next term which is used for this age, sir. Is it all right? Okay, Puranic Hinduism, age of Hindu revival, classical age, golden age, Guptan age. See, so many names are there. Each name is associated with one prominent feature of this time period, sir. Is it all right? Okay, so now after this, from 550 AD to next time period is 750 AD. 550 to 750 AD is the next time period. Next again 200 years. And during this period, okay, the most prominent ruler is this person called Harshavardhana. Okay, we need not know about anyone else. So during this 200 years of timeline, the most prominent ruler is Harshavardhana. Okay, Harshavardhana is the most prominent ruler during this 200 years of age. Then after this, the next phase in history, okay, so from 750 AD to 1206 AD. See, directly again we are combining together nearly 500 years of age. Yes, so this 750 AD to 1206 AD is known as the age of feudalism. What is the meaning of feudalism? Yes. Okay, land will become the most important asset in society. Okay, that is the reason why this age is known as age of feudalism, where land and land-based rights. Okay, the term which is used is very good term here. Age of feudalism means the age in which land and land-based rights, they become the most defining feature of the society. Okay, so most defining feature of the society is what? Land and land-based rights become the most defining feature, then it is known as feudalism. So naturally, what you should think is this is the age which is dominated by, okay, the term, even though it is a Mughal term, okay, but the Jamindar is a Mughal term, right? But even then, even though it is a Mughal term, the system is also similar to the Jamindar system, sir. Are you following what I'm trying to say? Jamindars are the most dominant people, and here this age saw a lot of decentralization, okay, no unity across India, no one single ruling dynasty across India, and the most important system here is Jamindari system. So naturally, when Jamindari system is there, power is decentralized, right? Yes or no? There is no single ruler. All the power is delegated to the Jamindari classes. So this is based on decentralization of power, right now. Decentralization of power is the important characteristic of this phase. And in this phase, there are three prominent ruling dynasties across India, sir. The first one is the Gurjara Pratiharas, is the first one. Second one is, okay, the Palas of Bengal region. Gurjara Pratihara is the first one. Gurjara Pratihara. Okay, Gurjara Pratihara is the first one. Second one is the Palas, and the third one is the Rashtrakutas, sir. So I'll tell the exact times of these people along with their capitals too. Okay, it is important for us. So Rashtrakuta. Okay, Rashtrakuta. I'll show the slide for you. Yes. Okay, write it down. Okay, so it's given here. Gurjar Pratiharas, 8th to 11th century. This has been asked as a UPSC prelims question. 8th to 11th century. Capital is at Ujjain. Palas, okay, 750 to 11th century. Okay, you draw this down. Okay, so you write it down. Palas 750 to 11th century, and they had their capital at three places: Gaur, Monger, and Patliputra. Okay, three capitals. It means some rulers they stayed at Gaur, some others Monger, and some others at Patliputra. These are the three capitals. The last one is Rashtrakutas from 750 to 1000 AD, and their capital is the city which is known as Malkhed. Okay, Malkhed or Manyakheta it is called as. Okay, so three ruling dynasties are prominent during this period. So Gurjar Pratihara is one, second one is Pala, the third one is called as Rashtrakuta. And these three ruling dynasties, they are involved in a struggle which is known as the famous tripartite struggle. Tripartite struggle. Okay, three rulers conflict for the sake of control over the city of India, which is known as Kanauj. Okay, tripartite struggle for Kanauj. These three ruling dynasties are involved in tripartite, T-R-I-P-A-R-T-A-T, tripartite struggle for the city of Kanauj. Okay, for the city of Kanauj, these people they fought against each other. So this is known as the famous tripartite struggle. Is it all right, sir? Then, okay, in the year 1206, okay, 1206 is the year when we see the establishment of Delhi Sultanate, sir. Okay, 1206 AD is the year when the Delhi Sultanate was established. Okay, Delhi Sultanate was established, and during this time or during the age of feudalism, there are again foreign invasions from northwest of India, and these foreign invasions they led to the establishment of the first Turkish Empire in India or the early Turkish Empire in India. Delhi Sultanate is also known as early Turkish Empire. Okay, early Turkish Empire it is called as. Okay, and it started with this person by the name of Muhammad of Ghori, right? Okay, Ghazni is before, but Ghazni के बारे में बाद में बात करेंगे हम लोग. Okay, so he was coming to India during the time of feudalism. Okay, then after that Ghori came, and he is the one who established Delhi Sultanate. Is it fine, sir? Delhi Sultanate he established, and in fact there are 5 ruling dynasties in Delhi Sultanate. The first one is known as the Slave or Ilabari dynasty. Slave or Ilabari dynasty is the first one. Second one is the Khiljis. Third is the Tughlaqs. Tughlaqs is the third. Fourth one is the Sayyids. Fifth and last ruling dynasty is Lodhis. Okay, 5 ruling dynasties were present: slaves, Khiljis, Tughlaqs, and Sayyids and Lodhis. Okay, they are asking good questions on political history of India. So we will read about them a little thoroughly, sir. Is it all right? Okay, so then after these 5 ruling dynasties, the most important characteristic trait of 5 Sayyids and Lodhis. All right. Okay, so in fact, this age is also known as the age of third urbanization, sir. Third urbanization. I think I forgot to tell about second urbanization. Second urbanization is the age of Mahajanpadas. Please write it down. Age of Mahajanpadas is there. Go back. Age of Mahajanpadas is the age of second urbanization, and this age is known as the age of third urbanization in India. Okay, third urbanization in India is this age. Slave, Khilji, Tughlaq, Sayyid, Lodi, okay, are the most prominent ruling dynasties. And after this, okay, so the next ruling dynasty is 1526 AD is the next year, sir. 1206 is Delhi Sultanate. 1206 to 1526 they continue. And in the year 1526, okay, the Mughal Empire was established in India. The Mughal Empire was established in India in 1526 after the Battle of Panipat. The first Battle of Panipat, it led to the establishment of the Mughal Empire. Okay, Mughal Empire in India, 1526 AD. And here too we have 5 prominent great Mughals, right? We studied about the later Mughals in modern India. So the 5 great Mughals we will study about here. Okay, the great or grand Mughals are, it starts with Babur, Humayun. Okay, so in between there is a short period for Sher Shah. We'll study about them. Then after that there is Akbar. Then after Akbar there is Jahangir. Then after Jahangir there is Shah Jahan, and after that Aurangzeb. Okay. And this Mughal Empire, its dominance continued from 1526 to 707 AD. 1526 to 707 AD is the age of death of Aurangzeb, right? Okay, so that is the 18th century India, you remember? Yes, so 707, 1526 to 707 AD. Okay, but the complete, complete destruction of the Mughal Empire, or the second stage in decline of Mughal Empire, is 1757, the Battle of Plassey. And finally, by 1857, the Mughal Empire was abolished by the Britishers, right? Yes, so the next times are 1526, 707 is the age of death of Aurangzeb. Then after that, second point of decline is 1757, Battle of Plassey. Then the final extinguishing of the Mughal Empire, it occurred in 1857. Is it all right, sir? Making sense? Okay, so establishment of British Empire, okay, it started with 1757, and 1857 is the year when Mughal Empire was finally abolished. So this is the timeline for North India. Is it making sense, sir? Okay, so based on this, okay, we will get a clear picture whenever we discuss. Okay, so what follows, what we need to know clearly, sir. Is it all right? Then after this, okay, I will give the timeline for South India and Deccan too. Okay, so these are also important for us. So we will start with the South Indian history, sir. And after that we will come to Deccan. South Indian timeline. Second one is South Indian timeline, and here too, from 1 million years ago to roughly till 1000 BC is Stone Age. Okay, 1000 BC is Stone Age. Okay, and from 1000 BC to the period till 200 BC, this period is known as an age, a unique age for South India, which is known as Megalithic Age. Okay, so from 1 million years ago to 1000 BC, we have the Stone Ages. Then after that, from 1000 BC to 200 BC, for 800 years, we have an age in South Indian history which is known as Megalithic Age. Okay, mega here means what? Mega means big. Okay, lithic means stone, right? So the South Indian history, this is a unique one. So this is a big stone tradition. Big stone tradition. Okay, so this age is called as Megalithic Age. Okay, usually in order to, megaliths are erected in order to commemorate the dead people, sir. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? So this is not the significance, or megalith is not present in the city or town or village. It is in fact a burial ground, which is a characteristic feature of this age, sir. In fact, what these people used to do is, whenever a prominent person dies, they used to bury him, and on top of him they used to place a large stone boulder. Okay, not on the dead body, but after burying. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? Okay, so this tradition is known as megalithic tradition. And in South India, from 1000 BC to 200 BC, this same period is also known as Iron Age of South India, because they also started using iron. Technologically, they also are very advanced. Okay, so that is the reason why this age is also known as Iron Age of South India, megalithic. Okay, large stone boulder tradition. Then after this, from 200 BC to 300 AD is the next age, and this age is known as the famous Sangam Age, on which many questions have been asked in UPSC prelims and mains. Okay, Sangam Age is the age. Okay, and here the word Sangam means, okay, the congregation of poets. Okay, the assembly of poets is known as Sangam. Okay, write it down. Assembly of poets. Sangam means assembly of poets. Okay, and in fact, this is the foundation for Tamil culture, sir. Okay, the Tamil culture, it emerges from the Sangam Age period only. Okay, assembly of poets, Tamil culture evolution, it starts with the Sangam Age. So 200 BC to 300 AD is the next time period. Then after 300 AD, from 300 AD to roughly till 550 AD, that is for 250 years, is also a void in South Indian history. Okay, again, for 250 years, there is no literary evidence, no archaeological evidence properly. So again, for nearly 250 years, there is void in history, and this void in history is known as the age of Kalavaras. Okay, Kalavaras. Kalabharas. They are a tribal group of Tamil region, Kalabhara. Okay, Kala, K-A-L-A, Kalabhara, B-H-A-R-A-S. Age of Kalabharas, it is known as. Okay, Kalabharas are the people who are tribal groups. Okay, age of Kalabharas, it is called as. And from 550 AD, okay, so the age which is known as age of Pallavas has started. Okay, so Pallavas age started here. Age of Pallavas. Okay, 550 to 750 AD. Please check it once, or 900 or 750, sir. 750 it is given, right? So it is 750 only. Okay, so 550 to 750 AD. For 200 years, we have the age of Pallavas, their capital at this place called Kanchipuram. 500. So I'm sorry, sir. So I'm little mistaken, I might be. So 500 AD. So from 500 to 750 AD is the age of Pallavas of Kanchipuram. Okay, and this is the time for evolution of Dravidian architecture. So culture wise, they are very important. Okay, so Dravidian architecture evolved from their period of time. Okay, age of Pallavas. Then after 750 AD, okay, the next one is the age of Imperial Cholas. Okay, right now, age of Imperial Cholas is the next age. Dravidian architecture. So then after that, Imperial Cholas. What is the end line of Imperial Cholas? Please check it once. 12th century. Yes. So 750 AD to 12th century. Okay, is the time period of Imperial Cholas. Okay, and Imperial Cholan period is also very prominent age in South Indian history. So in fact, the Imperial Cholas are, okay, the only ruling group in India who conducted foreign invasions from Indian soil. So till then, okay, all the foreign invasions occurred over India. These are the only people who invaded foreign lands. Okay, that too with a very advanced navy of their own. They are the ones who invaded Southeast Asia, and many territories in Southeast Asia they brought under their own control. Particularly the Indonesian islands were under their control. So this is the age of foreign invasion from India. Is it clear? Age of foreign invasion. The only unique foreign invasion of India is the foreign invasion of these Imperial Cholas. So 750 to 12th century. Then after that, okay, we have the age of Pandyans. Age of Pandyans is the next period. Okay, and what is the time period that has been given for Pandyans, sir? 12 to 14, right? Yes, 12 to 14th century. For 200 years, we have the ruling dynasties which are known as the age of Pandyans. Okay, age of Pandyans, it is called as, okay, Pandyans. Then after 14th century, in south, we see the emergence of age of Vijayanagara Empire. Okay, Vijayanagara Empire. Age of Vijayanagara Empire is the next one. So, and it started with 1336. What is the year? Yes, 1336 is the year when it started, the age of Vijayanagara Empire. Okay, 1565. Yes, the end is 1565. Okay, in fact, it ended with a battle called Battle of Banhatti or Talekoti. Okay, so right now, Banhatti, it ended with the Battle of Banhatti or Talekoti. Banhatti, B-A-N-H-A-T-T-I, Banhatti, okay, which is also known as Battle of Talekoti. Very, very prominent event, sir. We will discuss about this event too. Banhatti or Tale, T-A-L-L-E, Tale, Kote, K-O-T-E. Okay, T-A-L-L-E. If you want, I can write it down. Tale Kote. Okay, Banhatti or Tale Kote, okay, is the battle name. Okay, and it ended 1336 to 1565. Okay, so is the period of Vijayanagara Empire. Then after the Vijayanagara Empire, we see the emergence of Nayaka rule in south. Nayaka rulers. And from the Nayaka rulers, we see the emergence of British Empire. Direct. Okay, Nayaka rulers 1565, and from that period directly the evolution of British Empire in India. You remember the ruler of Vijayanagara Empire himself gave the Madras port town to the English, Remember we talked about it. The Mysore Nayakas are the ones who are replaced by Tipu Sultan. So it is a continuation, right? Yes. So Nayakas means, okay, the descendants of Vijayanagara Empire are called as Nayakas. And here, so the Nayaka rulers, they continued till the establishment of British Empire in India. Is it clear, sir? Is it making sense? So are you understanding this? First megalithic, Sangam, void, then Pallava, then Imperial Chola, then after that Pandya, age of Vijayanagara Empire, and from there we have the Nayaka rulers, and after that we have the establishment of British Empire in South India. Simple, right? Yes. Now the next one is the Deccan region, sir. And Deccan region is also very important in Indian history. Deccan region is also important in Indian history. So when it comes to the Deccan region, is it all right, sir? Yes. Is it making sense? Now the next one is the Deccan region. In Deccan region, similarly, again 1 million years ago to 1000 BC, we see the same stone ages here. Then from the stone ages in 1000 BC to again till 200 BC, here too we see the megalithic age. Same thing. Okay, megalithic age is seen from 1000 BC to 200 BC. Then after the megalithic age, the next age in Deccan's history, it is known as age of Shatavahanas. Shatavahanas are the ruling dynasty here. Okay, age of Shatavahanas, and along with the Shatavahanas, parallelly, there was a ruling dynasty called Ikshvakus. Okay, Ikshvaku and Shatavahana. Okay, two ruling dynasties are present parallel to each other, Ikshvaku and Shatavahana. So, and after the Ikshvaku and Shatavahana period, their period ended in roughly 300 AD. Sir. Okay, Ikshvaku and Shatavahana period, it ended in 300 AD. So, when it comes to the Shatavahanas, okay, so and Ikshvakus, I'll tell their capital names, sir. Just after drawing the flowchart, please leave some space there. Okay, Shatavahana capital, I'll just dictate it here only. Why unnecessarily again delay it? Okay, Pratishthan and Amaravati, two places they had their capital at. Pratishthan is one, Amaravati is the second. Then second one is Ikshvakus. And Ikshvakus had their capital at this place called Vijayapuri or Nagarjunakonda. Okay, Vijayapuri or Nagarjunakonda. Okay, so Vijayapuri or Nagarjunakonda is the capital of Ikshvaku dynasty. Then after that, okay, we have this dynasty called Wakatak dynasty. Okay, Wakatak. I'll write it down. So you wrote the capitals, right? So the next one is Wakatak. Waktak. Wakatak dynasty is the next one. So when it comes to the Wakataks, okay, their capital is this place called, okay, Vasta Gulma. Vasta Gulma is their capital. Please write down Vasta Gulma. Okay, Vasta Gulma is their capital. And in fact, the Wakataks are the people who are responsible for the paintings in Ajanta. In the Ajanta painting tradition, it is associated with the Wakataks. Wakataks are the ones, okay, so who are associated with the paintings of Ajanta. Then after this, okay, after the Wakatak dynasty, in Deccan region, the next ruling dynasty is, okay, the Chalukyas of Badami. Chalukyas of Badami, it is called as, because they had their capital at this place called Badam. Okay, Badami is the place where they had their capital at. So that is the reason why these people are known as Chalukyas of Badami. So please help me with the timelines, sir, here. 750 AD, Wakataks is from 300 to 500, right? Then 500 to 750 AD is the Chalukyas of Badam. But here in the handout, it is given wrongly that they are Western Chalukyas. It is not correct. You please cut it out in the handout. Okay, for people who have printed handout, you cut it out. They are not known as Western Chalukyas. It has been a misprint here. So in fact, then after the Chalukyas of Badami, we see the emergence of Rashtrakutas, sir. 750 AD, we say Rashtrakutas have emerged, right? Okay, Rashtrakutas is the next ruling dynasty. We already wrote their timeline earlier too. So what is the time period which is given for them? 750 AD to 900 AD, 1000 AD. So 750 AD to 1000 AD, and the capital of the Rashtrakutas is this place called Malkheda or Manyaketa. You remember? I already talked about it. Then after the Rashtrakutas, the next ruling dynasty is a ruling dynasty which is known as Chalukyas of Kalyani, and these people are known as Western Chalukyas. Okay, the next one is Chalukyas of Kalyan, and they are known as Western Chalukyas. Western Chalukyas, and naturally the name Kalyan means it is their capital, Kalyani. So Chalukyas of Kalyan, okay, they are also known as Western Chalukyas. Then after Western Chalukyas, the next ruling dynasty is, okay, in fact the Chalukyas of Kalyan, they declined and their empire, it got divided into three parts there. Okay, one part is the Kakatiyas of Warangal. Kakatiyas of Warangal is the first Kakatiya. Okay, I'll spell it out for you. Kakatiya. Kakatiyas of Warangal is the first one. Second one is, okay, this Hoysalas of Dwarasamudram. Hoysalas of Dwarasamudram is the second one. Dwarasamudram. Hoysala. Hoysalas. Hoysalas of Dwarasamudram is the second one. Kakatiyas of Warangal. Hoysalas of Dwarasamudram. And the third one is Yadavas of Devagiri. Three ruling dynasties emerged during this time. Kakatiyas of Warangal, Hoysalas of Dwarasamudram, and Yadavas of Devagiri. Is that making sense, sir? Is it alright? Okay, so three ruling dynasties that replaced the Chalukyas of Kalyan, and these three ruling dynasties, all of them were annexed into Delhi Sultanate by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Okay, they were destroyed and they were annexed into the Delhi Sultanate by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq is the one who annexed them. Even though Alauddin Khilji, he invaded them, he is the one who annexed them. Okay, Muhammad bin Tughlaq. You know about Muhammad bin Tughlaq, right? Yes, he is the one who shifted his capital from Delhi to Daulatabad. Daulatabad is nothing but Devagiri. There is a capital of Yadavas. You are understanding this, sir? So he is the one who annexed these three states, but even after annexation, he was unable to control these territories, sir. See, Muhammad bin Tughlaq's period is known for very unique expansion and his inability to control these regions. He is brilliant military commander, but he is not a good administrator, sir. So because of which reason, during the time of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, immediately after his death, these three regions, whatever were controlled by him earlier, all three of them, they came under a sultanate which is known as Bahmani Sultanate. Are you understanding this? Okay, so how the Islamic invasion, they changed the ruling dynasty here. Three dynasties were destroyed and they were replaced by a sultanate which is known as Bahmani Sultanate. Be knowing about the spelling of this, Bahmani. Bahmani Sultanate, and it was established in the year 1346, 48. 46 or 48? I think it is 48. 1347, yes. Okay, 1347, this Bahmani Sultanate was established. 1347, Bahmani Sultanate. Okay, invasion of Delhi Sultanate mein, Muhammad bin Tughlaq is the one who annexed these three states. Then after that, formation of Bahmani Sultanate. Okay, Bahmani Sultanate in the year 1347, and it continued till 1526, 1527. It continued till 1527 AD, so 1347 to 1527 AD, nearly for 180 years. Write it down. Okay, 1347 to 1527, nearly for 180 years it continued. Then after this, it has been divided into 5 states, sir. Okay, 5 states it got divided into. Okay, 5 states it got divided into, and these 5 states are, the first one is, okay, Bijapur, Golconda. I have given the list there. Please check it once. Bijapur, Golconda. Okay, so see the handout once. Bijapur, Golconda is one. Ahmednagar is one. Bidar and Berar. Berar, Bidar, Ahmednagar and Golconda. Okay, this can be asked as a good match the following question, sir. So these are the 5 ruling dynasties into which the Bahmani Sultanate was devolved into: Bijapur, Ahmednagar, Bidar, Berar and Golconda. So 5 ruling states. And these 5 ruling states may, okay, what happened is, so the first one, Bijapur, it is ruled by these rulers who are known as Nizam Shahis. Am I correct? Please check this handout once. Bijapur is Nizam Shahis or Ahmad Shahis? Adil Shahis, right? Yes. So I'm sorry. So Adil Shahis are the rulers of Bijapur. Ahmednagar's rulers are known as Nizam Shahis. Golconda rulers are known as Qutub Shahis. Okay, Bidar rulers are known as Barid Shahis. Barid Shahis, and Berar rulers are known as Imad Shahis. Imad, okay, Kutub, okay, Nizam, and okay, so Adil. These are the 5 ruling dynasties, and 5 different rulers are present. Okay, ruling dynasties are present. Adil Shahis, Nizam Shahis, Baid Shahis, Imad Shahis, and Qutub Shahis. Alright. So we will not read their political history, sir. It is not important from UPSC point of view. Okay. So it is regional history. It is not important for us, but at least we should know the names of the ruling dynasties and their capitals, sir. Alright. So these are the next 5 states which have been created, and okay, these states they ended in the year 1687. Okay, because of the invasion of Aurangzeb. Okay, so he is the one who destroyed these states, invasion of Aurangzeb, and during his invasion itself, okay, 1687 May, he annexed all the states. During his invasion created political vacuum in Deccan region, which led to the rise of Shivaji from 1674. Is it alright, sir? Making sense? He was invading Deccan region, so he was destroying one empire after the other, and this gave opportunity for Shivaji to rise in power, and he in fact became a king in the year 1674. Is it making sense, sir? Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? Okay, so 1687 he annexed all states, but from 1674 on we see the rise of Shivaji. Okay, and then after this, the 18th century in India is known as the age of Marathas, because the Marathas became the most powerful ruling dynasty during this period. So this period, 18th century, is known as the age of Marathas. Okay, and finally the age of Marathas, it ended with the year 1818 when the British annexed. Okay, so when the British annexed, the last age is 1818 when the British annexed not the Maratha state, the Peshwas state into British Empire. Peshwas state into British Empire. You remember the third Anglo-Maratha war? The year is 1818 when Peshwaship was abolished. So that is the last stage in history, sir. Is it alright, sir? Okay, so this is the Deccan region. See, when it comes to the region of Odisha, okay, so I did not include in timeline at any place any province or king from Odisha. Okay, but in fact that was not. See, we are going to discuss about some rulers, sir. Particularly, we are going to talk about Kharavela. Okay, so we are going to talk about Kalinga during the time of Ashoka Maurya. That is also one thing we are going to discuss. Then later day, during post-Mauryan age, we are going to talk about Kharavela, who belonged to the Mahameghavarman dynasty. Okay, so that we are going to talk about. Then in contemporary to Vijayanagara Empire, we are going to discuss about the Gajapati rulers. Okay, so briefly we are going to discuss about them, because from UPSC point of view, okay, superficially they are going to ask questions, but maybe in your state services they might go a little depth. You getting what I'm trying to say? So those are the most prominent ruling dynasties from Odisha. Means we remember the ruler Kharavela. Then after that, okay, we remember the Gajapati rulers. Okay, those are the most prominent things from the region of Kalinga. Is it alright? So apart from that, okay, these are the most prominent areas, okay, of history, and this is the timeline of history. So the first 1 hour of the class I have given the timeline, okay, but this is the most important part of the class, sir. Is it making sense? Okay, are you understanding the flow of history from one to another? Okay, so this is the case with the timeline. Now what we are going to do is, okay, so the next part we are going to discuss. Yes. Any questions still here? Any questions? Okay, so this is the timeline of history. Whenever you start reading ancient, medieval or art and culture, first you have to look at the timeline, then only you have to read. Okay, because it gives a lot of clarity for us to understand the flow of history, who comes after whom, okay, what happens, which are the capitals, all these things we are going to know from this section. Now, after this, okay, the next discussion is, in fact, okay, there is a small concept here, sir, which is not been given in the handout. Okay, I'll explain it. Then after that, we will move to the next section. Is it all right? So, in fact, the Earth, okay, in timeline, okay, Earth's time period, it is divided into numerous, okay, phases in history, sir. Okay, numerous phases in history, and of these phases, okay, recently the International Stratigraphic Organization, it has classified a new age for human society, which is known as Meghalayan age. Okay, because the place Meghalaya is associated with India, so that is the reason why it might become important for prelims. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Yes. See, in fact, the story of, okay, Earth, it starts from nearly 4.5 billion years ago, and here, okay, so when it comes to this, okay, story of Earth, usually the periods are divided into this way, sir. Okay, the broadest or the largest period is the eon. Okay, let me. Okay, eon, and below eon we have era, and below era we have periods, and below periods we have epochs, and below that we have ages. Is it making sense? Okay, so these are the 5, okay, classifications of Earth's time period, which is done by International Stratigraphical Organization. And so in these things, recently the International Stratigraphic Organization, it has created a new eon, which is known as the eon of, age of Meghalaya. Okay, Meghalayan age, it is known as. So it has started this new eon or new age, it has started, I am sorry, sir. So, and this Meghalayan age, it starts from 4200 BC. Okay, 4200 BC, say this Meghalayan age is starting. So we are right now living in this age, which is known as Meghalayan age. Are you following what I'm trying to say? So based on climatic changes, based on the species which are surviving, okay, usually the time period is divided in this way, sir. And okay, let us get a clarity on, okay, where we exactly stay now. We are living in Meghalayan age, right? The Meghalayan age is a subpart of this epoch, which is known as, okay, please write these things down. So we live in, I will dictate one. We currently live in Phanerozoic era. Please write it down. We currently live in Phanerozoic eon, Cenozoic era, Quaternary period, Holocene epoch, and Meghalayan age. Okay, this is important. Please write it down. We currently live in Phanerozoic eon, Cenozoic era, Quaternary period, Holocene epoch, and Meghalayan age. Okay, write this small statement down. We currently live in Phanerozoic eon, Cenozoic era, Quaternary period, Holocene epoch, and Meghalayan age. Okay, so if someone asks you, okay, in what time period you are living, then you have to say this. Okay, so it is Phanerozoic eon, Cenozoic era, Quaternary period, Holocene epoch, and Meghalayan age it is called as. Okay, I'll share the slides with you. Don't worry. Okay, don't need to worry. I'll share the slides with you. Okay, so here just you write this one line. You don't need to read everything. Okay, so surprisingly UPS can ask this question. Okay, we live in which of the following epochs? Okay, then we have to say that it is Holocene epoch in which we are living. Okay, what age we are living currently, and the age name is known as Meghalayan age. And usually these names are usually done by or created by this International Commission on Stratigraphy. Write it down. Okay, this time period, this timeline is created by International Commission on Stratigraphy is the one which created this International Commission on Stratigraphy. Okay, and the name of Meghalayan age, write it down, write one statement. The name of Meghalayan age comes from this Mavmlu caves, write it down, Mavmlu caves of Meghalaya, Mavmlu caves of Meghalaya, okay, Meghalaya, and it starts from 4200 BC, and it starts from 4200 4,200, sorry, not BC, sir, 4,200 years ago. I'm sorry, I'm absolutely sorry. 4,200 years. 4,200 years ago. That is 2,200 BC. Okay, 2,200 BC it starts with. Okay, 2,200 BC it starts with. Okay, so this is the age which is known as Meghalayan age. So we need not know the timelines of each age. It's not important for us. We need to know just which era, which epoch we are living in. Okay, and what age we are living in right now is Meghalayan age, and it started from 2200 BC on. Is it clear? Okay, and this convention is created by International Commission on Stratigraphy is the one which created this, okay, classification. So don't need to go to depths of it. Okay, people who are studying anthropology and other subjects, they can go, but for us this is sufficient because this can only be asked as a prelims question here. Is it making sense, sir? Now after this, okay, so what we need to do is we need to study about, okay, so in fact some important things I need to discuss. Okay, so when it comes to okay, so history, what we are going to do is for each period we are going to study about the polity, society and economy. Three aspects we are going to discuss. Okay, three aspects we are going to discuss. Okay, so when it comes to polity, economy and society, so three things, okay, three separate sections we are going to discuss every section of history. So when it comes to the polity or polity part of the ancient and medieval times, there are some important textbooks on polity in India, sir. So first and foremost, I'll discuss about those textbooks. Then thereafter, I'm going to talk about the structure of administration in India. Structure of administration, how does it look like? I'll discuss next. Then after discussing the structure of administration, I'm going to discuss about the rise and fall of king's power. That is the third topic that I'm going to talk about today only. Then after the king's power, we are going to discuss about democratic elements in ancient Indian society. So four sections are there. First one is polity. What are the texts of polity? Structure of administration, rise and fall of king's power. Then the last one is democratic elements in ancient Indian society we are going to discuss. So these are the theoretical parts, and after this we are going to go into the timeline. Is it all right? So when it comes to the texts on polity, in India there is a tradition of writing textbooks on administration and polity. And this tradition of writing textbooks on administration and polity, it started with Mahabharata. In fact, in Mahabharata there is a parva called Shanti Parva, right? So in fact, after the Kurukshetra war, it is okay, the person that is Bhishma who talks to Yudhishthira about how to govern his state. Yes, that is in fact recorded in a book called Shanti Parva, which is part of Mahabharata, and it is the first text on administration and polity in India. Is it making sense? Then thereafter, the second text on administration and polity in India is the text which is known as Arthashastra, which is written by Kautilya. Okay, Kautilya is also known as Chanakya. Okay, so he is the person who wrote this book called Arthashastra. It is also a textbook on the ideal form of administration and governance. Then after these two textbooks, the next prominent person to discuss about the administration and polity in India is a person by the name of Kamandaka, and he wrote a book called Nitisara. Okay, Nitisara of Kamandaka is the third textbook which discusses about polity and administration in India. So this is the third one. Then fourth textbook which talks about it is, okay, this book which is known as Rajatarangini of Kalhana. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So it is given in the handout too, need not write. So these are the prominent ones. One is Shanti Parva of Mahabharata, second one is Arthashastra of Kautilya, third one is this Nitisara of Kamandaka, which was written during Guptan age. Then apart from that, Rajatarangini of Kalhana. Okay, Rajatarangini of Kalhana is one more book. Then along with that, we have numerous books which are known as, okay, Smritis. Okay, Smritis are the books, okay, which includes, okay, the books like Dharma Shastras, Dharma Sutras. Okay, both of them together are known as Shruti literature. Okay, please write it down. Smriti means, Smriti is Dharma Shastra plus Dharma Sutra is known as Smriti. Dharma Shastra plus Dharma Sutra is known as Smriti. Okay, and it also discusses elaborately on polity. So we might be knowing about some famous Smritis like Manusmriti. Yes, okay, Manusmriti code, legal code for India. So that is also a text on polity and administration, right? Okay, Manusmriti, Narada Smriti, Yajnavalkya Smriti. So this way there are multiple number of textbooks which have been written. So Smriti literature is also part of this. Okay, then along with these things, Rajatarangini of Kalhana is the only historical textbook. Write it down. Rajatarangini of Kalhana, drafted in Kashmir, is the only authentic historical textbook of India. Only authentic historical text of India. Only authentic historical text of ancient India. Okay, so this is the Rajatarangini of Kalhana. Okay, then after this, there are numerous foreign travelers accounts too. They are also discussing about the polity and administration of India. So about them we will discuss later. So foreign travelers accounts, you might be knowing about Megasthenes, right? He wrote a book called Indica. Okay, then Huansang is one more, Fahian is one more. Okay, so there are many foreign travelers, both Greek and Chinese travelers to India. They also discussed elaborately on Indian polity. So whatever we talk about polity and administration, we primarily derive our information from these books, sir. Is it alright? Nitisara by Kamandaka is one, Rajatarangini by Kalhana is the second one, Shanti Parva of Mahabharata is the third one, fourth one is this Arthashastra by Kautilya or Chanakya, then Smriti literature of India, foreign travelers accounts. These are the ones which give us the basic understanding of Indian administrative system. And in Indian administrative system, usually, okay, the kind of administration that is present is, usually on top we have a king. Okay, usually the Indian state is always monarchical. Monarchical means ruled by a single person. Monarchical state, king is the most prominent authority, and below him usually there is a council of ministers, okay, which is known as Amatya Parishad or Mantri Parishad, it is called as. Yes, so I am just giving the structure of Indian administration. Then below the council of ministers, usually you have a large bureaucratic organization. Okay, most of the times we have a bureaucratic organization in India below the council of ministers, just like today's administrative system. Yes, and this bureaucratic administrative system is usually known as Adhyaksha system. Adhyakshas are the bureaucrats of India. Adhyaksha, okay, are the bureaucrats of India. So this is how the central administration it looks like. King, council of ministers along with his set of bureaucrats. Then in most of the kingdoms of India, the kingdom was divided into numerous states. Okay, it means that federalism was part of India from ancient times. Okay, the central authority is present at Patliputra. For most of Indian history, the capital of India was Patliputra, but governing directly from Patliputra over a large country like India is impossible, right? Yes, that is the reason why in most of Indian history, India was divided into numerous states. Even under the large empires also this was done. Are you following this? And the names of states, they varied from age to age. Okay, during Mauryan period they are known as Bhuktis. Okay, during the Mughal period they are known as Subhas. Yes, states. Then below state in Indian administration, we have always the district based administration. The next level of administration is district. Okay, so district administration is also visible during Mauryan age, Guptan age. Okay, during the age of Delhi Sultanate and Mughal Empire also the district administration is clearly visible. Then below the district administration, we have the Mandal or Taluk administration is the next level. Okay, you know the Taluka, Mandal, okay, so that is present even today. So below the district we have a concept which is known as, what is it called in Odisha? Huh? Not block, okay, block is different. Block is for the sake of development. Taluka, yes. Tehsil or Taluka it is called as, yes, Tehsil, yes, same thing, sir. Mandal, Tehsil or Taluka, okay, all of these are the administrative units below the district. Then, okay, below the below the Mandal or Tehsil, there is village based administration. This was the standard form of administration, sir. Okay, the names vary, but the structure is same. Okay, king, council of ministers, bureaucrats, then states, districts, Mandal or Taluk or Tehsil, then below that there is village based administration. Is it clear? Making sense? Okay, so this way the administrative structure of India, it looks this way, and all the textbooks they talk about this administrative structure, and in each age the ruler and council of ministers, bureaucrats, their names change, but the function and structure it remained the same. Is it alright, sir? Now the thing is, there is a very unique thing about the power of kings in India, sir. Okay, the king power is a very, very unique aspect in India. So let us try and understand this rise and fall of king's power in India. So when it comes to the king, okay, usually because of the proto-historical nature of Indus Valley civilization. Proto-historical means they have written records, but we can't read them, right? So because of that reason, we don't know about the rulers of Indus Valley civilization. We don't have any idea about the rulers of Indus Valley civilization, primarily because we are unable to decipher their scripts. Listen to me carefully. Then after that, from early Vedic period, we see the emergence of a concept called Rajan here for the first time. Just remember it in the flowchart format. Okay, it is given in a descriptive format in the handout. Okay, but just see this. Early Vedic period, there emerged a ruler called Rajan. But this Rajan, he is in fact an elected leader in Indian history, sir. Okay, initially early Vedic period, he was elected by a group of people who are known as Samiti. Okay, Samiti is the assembly who through election, it used to elect the king. Is it clear? And the king's position or the Rajan's position is not hereditary, sir. It is not hereditary. Okay, not hereditary. Usually the position of Rajan is merit based position during the early Vedic period. So write it down. Early Vedic period, Rajan, elected leader of the Samiti. Then his position is based on merit, but it is not hereditary. Do you understanding this, sir? So initially the Rajan was a democratic elected head of the state. Are you understanding this? Is it making sense? Now, after this early Vedic period, the next period is the later Vedic period, right? By the time of later Vedic period, the position of the king, it got substantially transformed, sir. Now, rather than election, in later Vedic period, the concept of heredity, it came into picture. Heredity. It means that after the death of the father, okay, the son will become the next king. Hereditary nature. So hereditary nature mein, later Vedic period mein, the king became hereditary. Then apart from him becoming hereditary, one more thing about the later Vedic period king is, okay, the later Vedic period king, he started the rule of monarchical. Monarchical rule means, okay, without consulting anyone, he became the absolute leader of the dynasty. And he started a rule which is known as monarchical rule. Okay, here, earlier it is democratic rule. From democratic rule, by later Vedic period, the rule became monarchical rule. Are you understanding this? Slowly the power of the king is increasing. Are you understanding? Then after this, during the age of Mahajanapadas and Mauryan age, okay, the king started becoming very, very powerful. Okay, from here on, okay, what happened is proper state structure is created. Age of Mahajanapadas and Mauryan age, state structure is created, and the king got transformed into an emperor. The Rajan of earlier times, now he became an emperor who is known as Ekrat. E-K-R-A-T. It's called as. Okay, emperor in Indian terms is known as Ekrat. Ekrat means emperor. Is it making sense, sir? So now, so the king who was democratically elected earlier, now he became first monarchical and hereditary. Then after that, okay, during this period, they became, okay, emperors who are known as Ekrat. Is it making sense, sir? And usually the king's power was highest during the Mauryan age. Mauryan age, the king's power was at its peak. Then after this, what happened is, from the post-Mauryan age on, these tendencies which are known as feudal tendencies, they started emerging. From post-Mauryan age, we see the emergence of feudal tendencies. Feudal tendencies, and under these feudal tendencies, what happened is, listen to me first carefully, the king, unable to administer a large territory by himself, what he started doing is, he started delegating his authority to subordinate rulers. This is important, sir. He started delegating his authority to subordinate rulers, so which led to the emergence of the system which is known as Samanta system. Might be knowing about the Samant Rajas. Ever heard this term, Samant Raja? Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? Okay, Samantaraja are, okay, the people who are subordinate kings to the overall ruler is known as Samantaraja. So from post-Mauryan age, these feudal tendencies they started emerging, sir. And even the Guptan state is also a feudal state. Are you understanding this? It means that there will be one central ruler and below him there will be multiple number of rulers in different regions of the country. All of them will be subordinate to the central ruler. Are you understanding this? But Mauryan Empire was not such. Mauryan Empire, they used to directly administer the entire country. But Guptan state is a feudal state. Are you understanding this? Is it making sense, sir? So the feudal state, it started emerging during the Guptan period, and okay, finally it became age of feudalism. Finally, 750 to 950 AD, it is known as age of feudalism. Remember, just now we talked about it. And in age of feudalism, the central authority, it lost power, and these local rulers, they became more prominent, sir. Are you understanding this? Okay, so it means that the king or the overall, see, first post-Mauryan period mein, the feudal tendencies they started, and finally in Guptan period it became a complete full-fledged feudal state. And after this, the feudal rulers, they abolished the control of the central ruler, and they started the age of feudalism. See, it's very simple. Post-Mauryan age, feudal tendency started. Feudal state is Guptan state. Then after that central authority abolition, feudal states becoming more important is age of feudalism. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Is it making sense, sir? Now, okay, after this age of feudalism, we again see the establishment of Delhi Sultanate. Okay, Delhi Sultanate is again a centralized state, sir. Centralized state means all powers were under the control of king. Are you getting this? Then after Delhi Sultanate, the Mughal era is also the era of very powerful kings. Very powerful kings. Mughal era is also very powerful kings are present. Very powerful kings. Okay, and after the Mughal era, during the later Mughal period, again the tendency of decentralization it started, sir. Okay, later Mughal period, again that tendency of decentralization it started during later Mughal period. Is it making sense now? So it means that the king's authority in India, it has first during Indus Valley civilization period we don't know about it, but slowly it started emerging, and from the time of Mauryan age is considered to be the peak of this Mauryan age. Then after that it declined. Okay, then after that during Delhi Sultanate it again increased. Then after that again during Mughal Empire it again increased. Okay, this way you can draw a graph for this for easier understanding. Okay, so there are three periods of peak power for the kings. One is a Mauryan age, second one is Delhi Sultanate, and the third one is Mughal age. Is it making sense now? Are you understanding this? See, whenever there is feudal tendencies are dominating, naturally these are the periods for foreign invasions in India. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Okay, Delhi Sultanate it declined, then Mughal Empire it started emerging. Are you getting? So the periods of feudalism or decentralization are the periods of foreign invasion to India. Then when the Mughals decentralized, again the British came into picture and they also established a centralized state, right? Are you understanding this? Okay, so this way the power of the king it rose, declined. So this way it went in cycles, sir. Are you getting? And the important periods of history are the periods when there is centralized empire is established. Those are the considered to be the important periods in history. Are you understanding this? Okay. Now, apart from this, in India, even though the king was a very dominant authority, continuously from ancient time, we have some democratic elements in Indian society, sir. Okay, even though the Britishers initially they said that there is no democracy in India, democracy is a gift of the Britishers to India. It is not true. In fact, there were numerous democratic institutions in India from ancient times. So when it comes to the democratic institutions, democratic institutions in India from early Vedic period, we have assemblies called Sabhas and Samitis. Please write it down. If it is not, I think it is given there. So from early Vedic period itself, we have these associations which are known as Sabhas and Samitis. Okay, just listen to this. Then after this, Sabha and Samiti. Okay, slowly what happened is, by the time of Mauryan age, okay, sorry. First, the second phase is initially during early Vedic period, there are Sabhas and Samitis. Then after this, the age of Mahajanpadas. Right now, the second phase is the age of Mahajanpadas. And during the age of Mahajanpadas, there used to be kingdoms which are known as Ganasangas. Okay, Ganasangas are the kingdoms which have been established during the age of Mahajanpadas. And these Ganasangas were completely democratic in nature. Okay, these are not king ruled states. Okay, they are the states which are ruled by tribal assemblies. Okay, these are Ganasangas are not king ruled states. They are ruled by democratic assemblies of their own. Is it alright? So in fact, Buddha, okay, Mahavira, both of them, they come from these states which are known as Ganasangas. So you might be knowing about the Sakya clan from which Buddha has come. If you don't know also, it's fine. So Sakya clan is in fact a Ganasanga. It is not a king ruled state, but it is a state which is ruled by tribal assemblies. Is it making sense? Then after this, okay, during the Mauryan age, the democratic elements in India, they were completely suppressed, sir. Democratic elements were completely suppressed during Mauryan age. Then after the Mauryan age, the next phase of democratic element is during the Guptan period. Okay, Guptan period was known for its democratic elements. Okay, in administration also, you write down, in administration, there is participation of people's representatives. In administration, there is participation of people's representatives. Participation of people's representatives. Okay, so then after the Guptan, the democratic elements in India are present in the Cholan age. Okay, Cholan age is the next age where democracy can be clearly seen. Okay, so because of the village assemblies. Write it down. Guptan age, sorry, Cholan age. Village assemblies are organized in democratic format. Are organized in democratic format. Is it all right? So where we can see the democratic elements in India first during early Vedic period, then after that Mahajanapada period में Ganasangas, then Guptan age administration, then after that the last one is Cholan age villages. Okay, so each one of these are important. How these are democracies we have discussed, okay, when we discuss about the specific issues. Is it all right? So king's powers rise and fall. Did you understand? Second one is democratic elements, the administrative structure of India, then the text of on administration in India. All of these things we have understood, sir. Is it all right? Now the next part is we need to discuss the basics of society. Okay, right. Next section is Society of India. Okay, Society of India basics. Okay, polity basics we have understood. Society basics we will understand. So when it comes to the basics of society in India, usually whenever we study any society, we will discuss typically about three things, sir. The first one is the social structure. Second one is the social institutions. And the third one is the technology of the age we are going to discuss. Okay, three aspects we are going to discuss in society. First one is social structure. Second one is social institutions. The third one is the technology. Okay, usually the social structure means what? What is the meaning of social structure? Any guess? So how the society is organized. Okay, organization of society is called as social structure. And usually in social structure, we usually discuss about the hierarchy which is present in society. How the society is organized. Okay, who are considered to be elite, who are considered to be the common people, who are considered to be the lower sections of the society. All of these things we are going to discuss as part of the hierarchy in society, number one. Number two is, as part of the social structure itself, we discuss also about the gender relations in society. Okay, two important aspects whenever we discuss social structure. We will discuss how the structure of the society is present, number one. Second one is how the gender relations in society are present. And usually in most of Indian history, the Indian society is by its very nature patriarchal in nature. Is it clear? And when we discuss about the hierarchy in society, we will discuss about the Varna system, Jati system. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Social structure may, Varna Jati we will talk about, and gender relations may we usually talk about the system which is known as patriarchy, women's position in society. Is it clear? So this is the first one. Then second one is this thing called social institutions. Okay, institutions are nothing but the said and unsaid rules of the society are called as social institutions. Said and unsaid rules. Structure is the outlook or how the society is in fact structured. Institutions means the rules of society, and these rules sometimes they are said rules, sometimes there are unsaid rules of society. Yes. So as part of the social institutions, then what is the social institution of India? Okay, marriage is one social institution, rule for society. Then sati is also a social institution. Yes. Then can you talk about any others? In fact, religion itself is a social institution. Is religion not a social institution, sir? It in fact lays down the rules for the society. Said and unsaid rules, all of them are part of the religion, marriage. Okay, then along with that, there is a system in India which is known as Gotra. You might be knowing about Gotra. Yes, Gotra is also a social institution. It lays some rules for the people. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Is it making sense? So social institutions may typically we study about the religion. Okay, the social institutions like Gotra, Samskara. What is the meaning of Samskara? Ritual. Yes, samskara means ritual. Gotra means what? What is the meaning of Gotra? So in fact, Gotra is a signifier of lineage. Lineage means okay, how the people have descended from one to another. That is in fact reflected by the Gotra. Okay, the people who belong to the same Gotra typically they are descendants of the same family group. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So this way, Gotra is one, Samskara is one more. So all of these are considered to be the social institutions, sir. Is it making sense? Now the third part is the technology of the age. Okay, so till now we have talked about the stone ages, iron age, okay, copper age. Are you getting this? Then apart from this, we are also going to discuss about okay, what kind of technology was used for agriculture. Okay, this is important. Then apart from agriculture, okay, what kind of technology was used for secondary sector in economy. So all of these things we are going to discuss as part of the technology of the age. So whenever we discuss about society, we will discuss about social structure, social institutions and technology of the society. Is it making sense? Yes. So then apart from these basic things about the Indian society, the typical character of Indian society is in fact, okay, from the ancient times itself, the most long lasting feature of Indian society is its diversity. In fact, diversity of Indian society is not a constitutional value. Okay, it is in fact part of the Indian culture and ethos from ancient times. Okay, so and despite of the diversity which is present in India, always there is an underlying unity in this diversity, right? That is what we usually call as unity in diversity concept. Yes. So one more important characteristic feature of Indian society is its nature being unity in diversity. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? It means that there will be diverse traditions across the country, but there will be an underlying unity beneath them that is known as the concept of unity in diversity. Is it making sense? Then apart from this, one more salient aspect of Indian society is it is the world's okay, longest unbroken civilization. This is very important, sir. World's longest unbroken civilization is one more important characteristic trait of Indian society. So because of its unbroken nature, sometimes Indian civilization is also known as a living civilization. Yeah, write it down. It is also called as living civilization. Living civilization. Okay, in fact, this has been asked as a independent 10 marker question, 15 marker question in itself in UPSC mains. Okay, the Indian civilization being a living civilization. What is the meaning of this living civilization? Longest unbroken civilization, or also known as living civilization. What is the meaning of living civilization? Any guess? In fact, the practices which started from ancient times, they are still continuing in an unbroken chain. In fact, the world's oldest civilizations are the Egyptian civilization is one, then second one is Mesopotamian civilization, and the third one is Indus Valley civilization. Okay, these are considered to be the world's three oldest civilizations. But you might be knowing about the Egyptian civilization primarily because of the pyramids, right? Okay, but do the people of Egypt of today, do they follow the traditions of pyramids, sir? Egypt is a country which is known for its Islamic its culture, or the country is completely Islamized. So there is no tradition which is continuing from the time of pyramids to today. Are you understanding this? Number one. Number two is the civilization which is known as Mesopotamian civilization, which is present in the Iran-Iraq region of West Asia. Okay, but the Mesopotamian civilization, whatever was present during ancient time, there is no chain of continuity from then to now. Primarily because here also in Iran and Iraq region, okay, it also became Islamized. Are you following this? Okay, but only in the case of India, from the time of Indus Valley civilization to till today's India, we see an unbroken line of continuity, sir. Whatever traditions, culture, religious aspects are followed during the time of Indus Valley civilization, they are still being followed in India. That is the reason why Indian civilization is considered to be a living civilization with an unbroken continuity from 4,500 years ago to today. Are you following this, sir? Okay, it's not just about Indus Valley civilization. The later date traditions which emerged during the age of Mahajanpadas, during the age of Mauryans, then after that Guptan age, they are still continuing today. So I'll just give some examples, sir. So take the case of Indus Valley civilization. This tradition of Indian women keeping the sindoor, it started from Indus Valley civilization and it is continuing even today. Number one. Then second one is, if you take the Vedic age, even today we find people who are reciting the Vedas. Yes, there is also an unbroken chain of continuity from 1500 BC to till today. So nearly for 3,500 years this is continuing. Yes. Then the third one is, you take the age of Mahajanpadas. During that period, Buddhism and Jainism evolved in India. Even today we have the followers of both Buddhism and Jainism in India. We see them, continuous chain is there. Then from the age of Mauryans, if you see the Indian emblem of today, it is a Mauryan emblem, the 4-lion capital. Is it true or not? From Mauryan age we have some continuity. Then after that you take the age of Guptas. From Guptan period to today we see, okay, the dance traditions, they are continuing. Classical dance, classical music is continuing, drama is continuing in India. That is also an unbroken line from Guptan age to today. Are you getting this, sir? Then after this, during the age of feudalism, we see the emergence of numerous schools of temple construction style, and numerous gods have evolved during age of feudalism. Take the case of this Jagannath Puri cult. It started during the time of feudalism only. Okay, so that Lingaraja temple which is present in Bhubaneswar, they also were constructed during the feudal age. So those temples, they are being worshipped till today. So feudalism say the temple style and the temple based worship, it continued from the age of feudalism to today. That is also an unbroken continuity. Are you following what I'm trying to say? Then after that, during the Delhi Sultanate period, we see the emergence of Urdu as a language. Yes, so the tradition of Urdu, okay, the Islamic culture of India, Islamic construction style, it started from Delhi Sultanate, it is continuing even till today. Are you following what I'm trying to say? Am I making sense, sir? Then from Mauryan age, okay, we see a continuity of some dance forms like Kathak, Hindustani classical music, okay, some construction styles, paintings, all of these traditions, they continue from Mughal era to today. Are you understanding this? So it means that Indian civilization is a living civilization, because from every part of our background or past, we have one or the other element continuing to today's world, sir. Is it clear? That is the reason why Indian civilization is considered to be a living civilization, because one or the other part of our culture, it has come from one or the other part of history. Is it making sense? So such a good question they have asked. This is the applied question, sir. And this is not discussed in any standard textbook. I told you that UPSC always prefers applied questions to the questions which are present in the textbook. Okay, this question has been asked, living civilization. Okay, I'll discuss later about it again in art and culture too, the same topic I'm going to talk about, then you'll get better clarity, but I think you got the basic idea behind this living civilization concept. Is it making sense? So this is one more key characteristic of Indian civilization is it is a living civilization. There is concept of unity in diversity. Then along with that, one more key aspect of Indian civilization is tolerance and mutual coexistence. This is one more characteristic, right? Write it down. So tolerance and mutual coexistence is one more civilizational trait or societal trait of India is this. Okay, so tolerance and mutual coexistence is one more characteristic trait, and this also is seen from Indus Valley civilization to today. Okay, the same trait of tolerance and mutual coexistence, it is present, okay, from the age of Indus Valley civilization. Is it clear? Making sense, sir? So now shall we just briefly run through the handout once? Yes, so from this section on evolution of polity, we will run through the handout. So if you did not take the printout, at least open them on your mobile phones so that you can see some of them. Okay, wherever there are some additional points, I'll dictate them. So the same thing, sir. Okay, I'll discuss first, then handout. Okay, timeline mein there is nothing much to see, so we will skip the timeline part. Then after that, we will come to this section. Is it all right? So see the handout first. Okay, first one is text on polity. I have already talked about all the texts on polity. So you go to the first part in the handout. Text on polity is the first one, right? Yes? Or is there something missing before? Nothing, right? So text on polity, number one is Arthashastra, Shanti Parva, Smriti literature, Nitisara of Kamandaka, then foreign travelers account, Rajatarangini of Kalhana. Okay? So all of these are important texts on polity. Then after that, the power of the king. Okay? So this is the next discussion we had. We have drawn a graph to write. So tribal nomadic society initially, it is headed by Rajan. So tribal nomadic society ke bagal mein you write early Vedic period. Okay, early Vedic period is a tribal nomadic society, okay, and it is headed by Rajan, who is an elected head, and primary purpose was to protect the tribe and cattle wealth. Okay, the king's primary purpose is what? To protect the people and cattle wealth is his primary purpose. But by later Vedic period, Rajan became hereditary. The concept of dignity and divinity of king also emerged. Okay, slowly the king is equated with God. You're getting what I'm trying to say? Yes, so divinity, because primarily in order to bring in some control or order in society, there is a need to attribute the king with the divinity. So, no? So if you try to control people by saying that you are more meritorious than them, you have to prove your merit time and again. It's very difficult to prove your merit time and again. So what you do? You equate yourself with God. Then after that, everyone will listen to you. It's more simple, right? Okay, so that is the reason why in order to bring in administrative convenience itself, the king was equated to God, sir. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? Now, okay, so by age of Mahajanpadas emerged institutions of kings who centralized all powers under him, and he became a autocrat. Okay, so autocrat from the time of Mahajanpadas itself, we have the states which are having seven aspects to them. Okay, you might have studied about it in your political science about Saptanga theory. So the state usually should have 7 elements to it. Okay, 7 elements के बारे में बाद में मैं बात करूंगा. But from age of Mahajanpadas, we have the states with all the 7 limbs of the state. Please write it down. From age of Mahajanpadas, we have the states with 7 limbs. From age of Mahajanpadas, we have states with. From age of Mahajanpadas, we have states with 7 limbs. Okay. So which is called Saptanga theory of state. Saptanga. Okay, Saptanga theory of state. Okay, which was first proposed in Arthashastra. Okay, but by then itself it was present. Saptanga theory proposed by Arthashastra. Okay, centralized all power under him. He became an autocrat. Okay, so now the king, he is autocrat plus centralized power continued in Mauryan age, which saw the peak of power in Indian history. Okay, so peak of power in Indian history. From here on, due to feudal tendency, decline of king begins. Okay, it's there in the handout. It's there in the handout. You can see it. Okay, so that is the reason why please take the printout, sir. Okay, it's simple. Okay, it is useful to. Okay, it's useful to. Please take the printouts. Okay, so that you can write it immediately there. Okay, now next one is from here on, due to feudal tendency, decline of kings begin. Power of governance were given to feudal lords. Okay, feudal lords were given power. A concept of decentralization emerged. We talked about this, right? So the king, parcel of land was governed by feudal lords, he got autonomous from king, so the power became decentralized. Is it making sense? Okay. Then after that, tributes were paid to the king. So because the king gave them land, okay, so I forgot to tell about this. Let's suppose this is the king, and he gave away numerous parcels of land to different local rulers who are known as Samantas. Usually the Samantas, they are supposed to pay money to the king, number one. Then along with that, they are going to supposed to send their military for king's service. That is the second thing. Then apart from that, usually apart from money and military, okay, the local rulers to the king, they also have to personally submit to the king. Personal submission is the third. Okay, you write this down. Okay, so write this down. The Samantas or feudal lords, write it down. The Samantas or feudal lords are supposed to supply military to king, and pay revenue to him, and also personally submit to the king, So these are the three obligations that they have. Okay, this personal submission also sometimes includes matrimonial alliances. Okay, wherein they have to submit their daughters to the king to get married to them. Okay, so you might be knowing about this Mughal Rajput matrimonial alliances, right? This is also similar. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So personal submission may usually, okay, the matrimonial alliances were also established, sir. Is it all right? Making sense? Yes. Now the next thing about the king or the feudal system is done. Then Guptan age, okay, the feudal system was very prominent during Guptan age, and early medieval period saw complete decline of king, and his power, okay, was taken over by the local chiefs. It's given there. So I told you the king power completely declined and the local chiefs became more important than the central king. Yes, feudal age. Then so during the Delhi Sultanate and Mughal period, again there occurred centralization. Yes, centralization occurred once more. In the end of Mughals, again there is a decentralization, and feudal lords had again come into the picture, and British invaded at this time. So whenever there is decentralization, feudalism becomes stronger, which makes emperors and kings weaker, and this leaves a room for external attacks. So I showed it in graph format too. Yes. So the same thing, sir. Whenever the central power it declines and feudalism emerges, foreign invasions they do occur. Is it all right? Now after this, the next one is participation of people in administration, that is democratic elements in ancient India. British claimed that democracy was alien to India, but early Vedic period there is democratic element. Okay, we discussed about this already. I have given the flow chart too. Then after that, later Vedic period, powers of assembly diminished, but the king's power rose up. Okay, during the age of Mahajanpadas, there are polities called Ganasanghas. Okay, no one king, and the administration is done by the tribal assembly. Okay, Ganasangha means tribal assembly. I dictated it right. Ganasangha means tribal assembly. Then after this, Mauryan age, centralization again in the hands of emperor. So re-emergence of Ganasanghas and popular participation during Guptan age, I talked about it. So then last one is South Indian society. Cholan polity had thriving local governance in villages and at city level. Okay, so that is the Cholan age. So these are the prominent ones. Okay, Cholan age is this one. So these were democratic in form, and democracy is not alien to India. Okay, it was present in India even before. Then when it comes to the structure, king, council of ministers, bureaucracy, administrative units called states, districts, and below that mandals or talukas or tehsils, and below that villages. This is the administrative structure of India from ancient times. The same system we are continuing even today. Yes, so this is one. Then after that, the important characteristic traits of India is, okay, so I talked about the social structure. In social structure, caste is one unique feature of India. Yes, it's given there. Caste is, okay, the most salient aspect of Indian society. Patriarchy is the second aspect. What is the meaning of patriarchy? Okay, male domination. In fact, it is a power system where men get all the rights and women get all the, okay, obligations. Then it is known as patriarchal system. I think I have defined it once before for you in modern India. So patriarchy is a power system where the men get all rights and women get all obligations in society, then it is known as patriarchal system. Is it all right? Now, apart from patriarchy, sati is one more character. Then cultural diversity is not just a constitutional value, it is a way of life in India. So there is enormous amount of cultural diversity in India. Yes. So, but despite of this diversity, there is unity underlying this diversity. We talked about it. And this unity doesn't mean uniformity. Okay, all are not the same. Okay, unity is the philosophical unity that is present beneath all the diversity. You getting what I'm trying to say? So then, apart from this unity and diversity, okay, so India also is having, so write it down, sir. So Indian society is called as prismatic society. Indian society is called as prismatic, P-R-E-S-M-A-T-I-C. It's called as prismatic society, okay, in which tradition and modernity, prismatic society in which tradition and modernity coexisted together. Tradition and modernity coexisted together. So always, okay, from ancient times it is the same thing, sir. Any foreign influence comes, it becomes modernity, and whatever is present in India, it becomes part of tradition. And tradition modernity coexistence, it is always part of Indian society from ancient times to modern times. Is it making sense? Yes. So then, apart from that, so there is no break in Indian civilization. Only civilization which is considered as a living civilization from Indus Valley time to till now. Yes, so with respect to worship of gods and in many other themes, there is unbroken continuity. Then social structure, hierarchy, varna, caste, and along with that, usually in social structure, we also are going to study about the class system in society. Class. Okay, class means what? Economic. Economic division is called as class, yes. So economic division is called as class, and we will study about hierarchy, varna, caste, class. Okay, so all of these things we are going to study about. Then social institutions, okay, are the said and unread said rules of the society. So in fact, religion of society, slavery. Then along with that, in the rules of society itself, we have Purushartha in India. This is also a social institution. What is the meaning of Purushartha? The four ends of life. Okay, Artha, Kam, Moksha, and Dharma. Okay, these are the four Purusharthas, right? This is also a social institution. In fact, this is a rule book for the society. So Purushartha is also a social institution. Gotra is a social institution. Gotra means lineage, someone said it. So lineage is Gotra. So Gotra is also a social institution. Then along with that, in India, there is a unique social institution called Ashrama too. So I'll talk more about it later. But when it comes to Ashrama, every life or every Hindu life is classified into 4 stages, right? Okay, 4 stages mean the first stage is called Brahmacharya. Second one is called Grihastha. Third one is called Vanaprastha, and the last one is known as Sannyasa. Okay, these are the 4 stages of Hindu life that is called as Ashrama system. This is also a unique social institution of India. Then Samskara. Samskara means ritual. Write it down. Okay, it's not given there. Samskara means ritual. So usually in a Hindu life, there are supposed to be 16 life cycle rituals. Write it down. Okay, 16 life cycle rituals. 16 life cycle rituals. 16 life cycle rituals. Okay, so it starts with Garbhadan and it ends with Pinda Pradhan. Okay, so it means that post death, okay, Pinda Pradhan is done. Then when, okay, the child is conceived, there is a ceremony called Garbhadan. So in total, in a Hindu life cycle, any person should perform 16 life cycle rituals, which are known as samskaras. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Okay, so these are the 16 samskaras, of which marriage is also one samskara. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So marriage is also one samskara. So this way there are 16 samskaras, okay, system of marriage, family, education. Okay, and in India, we also have this system of ancestor worship too, sir. Forgot to tell about it. So it's given there. Okay, so in fact, we also have a tradition of ancestor worship. Okay, so in fact, respecting the elders. Okay, so elder means, ancestors means the people who are dead. Okay, ancestor worship is also one part of Indian culture. Then technology means, okay, so technology is the means of production. Okay, write it down, sir. Please write it down. Technology is the means of production on which on which the society depends. Technology may we study about the means of production on which the society depends. Okay, so that is one thing that we need to study in technologies. Okay, so technology we already talked about. Okay, so this is the story of polity and society. I just wanted to give a broad structure of these things. Okay, then after that we are going to discuss the specifics. Is it clear, sir? All right. Now shall we enter into the timeline of history? So we will start with the Stone Ages first. All right. Making sense, sir? So now we will start with the Stone Age society. So in Stone Age society, first we are going to discuss about the Paleolithic age. Okay, so you see the handout. So there is a Paleolithic age, Old Stone Age. So which in fact continues from 1 million years ago to 10,000 BC is the time period of this Stone Age or early Stone Age, which is also known as Paleolithic age. Okay, and in India during the Paleolithic age, we have some prominent sites for Paleolithic age in India, sir. Okay, you have to write them down. It's not given in the handout. Please write it down. Okay, Paleolithic period. Okay, Paleolithic period. Okay, there itself you write the site names where we find these Paleolithic sites. Number one is this Son Valley and Potwar Plateau in northwest India. Write it down. Son Valley and Potwar Plateau. Potwar Plateau in northwest India. Second one is the Shivalik Hills. Okay, Shivalik Hills is the second one. Third one is this region which is known as Bhimbetka. Okay, very prominent Paleolithic age site. So in fact there is a rock painting style also here. So we'll study about it later. Bhimbetka is one prominent one. Bhimbetka in Madhya Pradesh. Then after that, Adamgarh Hills nearby to Narmada. Adamgarh Hills nearby to Narmada. Okay, so then next one is this Kurnool Hills in Andhra Pradesh. Kurnool in Andhra Pradesh is one more Paleolithic site. Then the last one is Attirampakam in Chennai. Okay, Attirampakam in Chennai. These are the prominent Paleolithic sites. Okay, so this can be asked as a good prelims question, sir. Okay, Attirampakam in Chennai. Okay, Attirampakam in Chennai. Okay, and the thing with these people is, these people they used two types of tools, sir. Okay, one is known as the core tools. Okay, the second one is known as flake tools or blade tools. So let us understand this. Okay, what this core tool is. See, first taking a stone, these people they used to chip off some elements of the stone and convert it into a sharp edged tool. Then it is known as core tool. Are you understanding this? Whereas, so after a few years, these people realized that rather than using the core tool, which is very heavy for hunting, these people they started using the flakes which have been cut off from this original stone as weapons. Are you understanding this? First take a stone, so this is the stone, let's suppose. Then after that you chip off the things and you create a sharp edge on one side. Then it is known as core tool. Are you understanding this? Now, if you use the cut-off section as a weapon, this one, then it is known as blade tool or flake tool. Are you understanding this? So, core tools and flake or blade tools are the two types of tools which were used in Paleolithic period. Are you understanding this? Now, the predominant activity of the Paleolithic society, is nothing but they are hunters and gatherers. Hunting and gathering is their main activity. So hunting is usually the work of male members of the society. Gathering is the work of female members of the society. And during the Paleolithic period itself, we the first time see the evolution of a concept called family in human society. Family for the first time, it emerged here. And why humans alone or have this concept of families? What is the reason? Out of so many species, human species, it has a extended concept of family. So why this concept of family emerged among human beings? So this is a question for which many anthropologists, archaeologists, they studied about the evolution of family in human society. The primary reason for evolution of family in human society is primarily because of the extended period of pregnancy, which leads to women's dependence on men. Number one. Number two is extended period of infancy for humans. Infancy is also extended period. Yes or no? Because of which the child is dependent on the mother. Yes. So because of this prolonged period of pregnancy and extended period of infancy, these are the two reasons for emergence of family among human societies. Is it making sense? So in fact, the animals, okay, after they are born, they immediately start, okay, they can walk themselves, and they can also start hunting after a few years. Yes. But in human society, the infancy period, it is very extended or prolonged. Is it true or not, sir? Is it making sense what I'm saying? So it is in fact extended period of pregnancy and so the long period of pregnancy and extended period of infancy are the two reasons for emergence of family in human society, and the family system, it started from the Paleolithic period, sir. Am I making sense what I'm saying? Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? Then apart from the family system, usually in Paleolithic period, the society is organized in the form of bands. Okay, bands are usually group of people who are not numbering more than 100 are known as bands. Okay, if the number becomes more than 100, it becomes a tribe. But usually here in Paleolithic period, the society is organized in the form of bands. Okay, 50 to 100 people maximum. Okay, so these bands are groups of people who used to hunt together. Okay, then along with that, this society, because primarily it is hunting and gathering based society, these people are nomadic by nature. They're moving from one place to another. They can't settle in one region. Yes or no? So nomadic people, that is the next characteristic trait of the Paleolithic society. Nomadic, band society. Family has evolved for the first time. Then along with that, when you look at the residences of these people, they usually used to reside in rock shelters. Okay, their residences are in fact rock shelters. Okay, naturally formed caves are their residences. Okay, they never used to settle or build any houses of their own. They used to usually reside in rock shelters. Is it making sense? Yes. So this way, the Paleolithic society, it is a band society with nomadic tribals, hunting, gathering, extended infancy led to family system in human society. So this way, the Paleolithic age is known for evolution of human society. Then after this, these people, they started realizing that just using the stone tools is making hunting very difficult, sir. Okay, particularly hunting of wild game, big game, it became difficult primarily by using big stone tools. So by the time of Mesolithic period, the people started realizing that rather than creating large stone tools, let us go for these tools which are known as microliths. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? So microliths are usually the stone tools which are less than 5 centimeters in their size. And what these people did is they created very small sharp tools and started attaching them to bone and wood handles. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? Okay, bone and wood handles ko attach karke, they started using small stone tools which are sharpened. Okay, and this age is known as the Mesolithic age, and it is the age in which for the first time bow and arrow they have developed, sir. You understanding this? Okay, bow and arrow, because arrow is also a microlith attached to a wooden bar. A stick ko attach karke, okay, for one small stone tool is attached to a stick first. Then after that it is attached to a bow and you can hunt from distance too. Are you understanding this, sir? So this bow and arrow also emerged during the Mesolithic age, but the society structure, it remained almost the same, sir. Hunting, gathering, band society. Okay, nothing much of change occurred here. Is it making sense? Now, after this Mesolithic age, in the Mesolithic age, the most prominent sites of India, I have given a list of sites. Please write it down. So Mesolithic age sites. Write them down. Mesolithic sites. Okay. So Langanaj in Gujarat is one. Adamgarh in Madhya Pradesh. These are the two prominent sites, sir. Langanaj in Gujarat and Adamgarh in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, are the important things here. Okay, and the people also became semi-nomadic during this time. Semi-nomadic, because they started understanding the monsoon pattern. Semi-nomadic, as they started understanding the monsoon pattern. Okay, started understanding the monsoon pattern, they became semi-nomadic. Semi-nomadic. Okay, so extended periods of stay at one place. Okay, then after that they will migrate, then it becomes known as semi-nomadic. Is it making sense, sir? Yes. Now, okay, so the next one is, okay, the last one is Neolithic. Okay, please write it down. Neolithic is the last one. So Neolithic is, already I told you that it is polished stone tools, right? So in fact, the Neolithic age is known as a revolutionary age in human society. So which is known as Neolithic revolution. Write it down, sir. Neolithic age is called as Neolithic revolution. Write it down. Neolithic revolution. Revolution. Okay, as human society evolved, and new developments occurred in agriculture. Number one is agriculture developed. Number two, wheel developed. Number two is wheel. Number two is wheel developed. Third one is pottery. Okay, pottery is for storage and for cooking. Both pots can be used, right? So pottery is the third one which developed. Okay, pottery. Then wheel developed. Then settled or sedentary life. Settled or sedentary life is the third one. Sedentary means living at one particular place. Okay, for extended periods of time is called as settled life or sedentary life. Okay, sedentary life. These are the important improvements in the Neolithic age. It is known as Neolithic revolution. And you write one more. Okay, large tribes started developing. Large tribes beside the river. Usually beside the river. Okay, large tribes started developing and setting up villages of their own. Okay, and the most prominent sites are these ones, sir. First one is Burjham in Kashmir. Write them. Number one is Burjham in Kashmir. Second one is Chirand in Bihar. Okay, Burjham in Kashmir, Chirand in Bihar. Okay, then next one is Maski, Brahmagiri and Hallur in Karnataka. Write them down. Okay, the sites are not given in the handout. You can write them down. Maski, Brahmagiri and Hallur in Karnataka. Paimpalli in Tamil Nadu. Utnur in Andhra Pradesh. Yeah, are the prominent sites for them. Here, okay, so the most important, one more site is there, sir. Please write it down. It is known as Davosali Hadi in northeast India. Okay, Davosali Hadi. Okay, is the place name. Davosali Hadi, Hading. Davosali Hadi in northeast India. Okay, so these are the prominent sites for, okay, the Neolithic sites, sir. Neolithic age ka prominent sites are these things. Okay, so this can also be asked as a very good prelims question. So for the first time, villages were developed, tribes, okay, they were organized in more than 100 people, and in fact agriculture also evolved. In fact, the world's first farmers were women, sir. Okay, even though later day agriculture became a predominantly male activity, the world's first farmers were not men but women. Primarily because during the prior time, gathering work is given to women. So whereas hunting work was given to mainly men. So because during gathering, women started observing about plants, sir. Okay, their ability to, okay, in fact, flower in a particular season, okay, give seeds and food in a particular season was first observed by women. And the women for the first time, they started agriculture. Okay, the world's first farmers were women, in fact. Okay, so then apart from that, during the Neolithic age, we also see animal rearing for evolving for the first time. Please write it down. I forgot to tell about it. So Neolithic age mein hi. Okay, so we talked about the improvements, right? Wheel and other things, pottery. So there itself you write. So Neolithic age also saw domestication of animals. Okay, so if you see, look at this book called Our Past. Okay, number one. So in that the Mesolithic, Neolithic and Paleolithic age are discussed briefly. There you can see the domestication of wild pigs, sir. So usually the pig's teeth size with the domestication, it reduces substantially. Are you understanding this? So, and the first animal to be domesticated is dog. Dog is the first animal to be domesticated. And the domestication of animals also started during Neolithic age. Is it clear? Making sense, sir? So this way, then along with that, from Neolithic age itself, we see elaborate system of burial. Right now, elaborate system of burial can be seen from Neolithic age. Okay, so why burial becomes so important for us? Why? So in fact, whenever the burial custom starts, it means that human society, it started thinking about life after death. Yes. So life after death is the thought on life after death. It is the origin for religion. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? So it is in fact very, very important, sir. So the burial customs and traditions, they started from Neolithic age, and people started getting buried with the help of some burial goods. Okay, burial goods, so that they can use them after their death. And in fact, the religion of the Neolithic period is also revolving around two concepts, sir. One is called animism. Please write it down. Okay, religion of Neolithic age revolves around animism. Animism, A-N-I, animism, M-I-S-I. What is the meaning of animism? Okay, belief in spirit. Okay, belief in spirit. Belief in spirit. Okay, there can be good spirits, bad spirits also will be present. Animism is usually the belief in spirits. Okay, so it thinks that both, okay, animals, human, okay, and non-living things, all of them have spirit of their own. Spirit. Okay, animism. Then second one is belief in shamanism. Belief in shamanism. S-H-A-M-A-N-I-S-M. Shamanism. What is the meaning of shaman? Tantric. Okay, the priest who communicates with the spirits is known as shaman. Are you understanding this? Okay, shamanism means belief in shaman, who is a priest who communicate with the spirits. Shamans. Okay, so you might be knowing many tribal societies have shamans of their own. Yes? Okay, repeat. Shamanism, okay, is belief in shamans who communicate with the spirits. Who communicate with the spirits. Shamanism, who communicate with the spirits. Is it making sense? And usually the shamans are also tribal doctors. Please write it down. Shamans are also tribal doctors. Yes, sir. People who do black magic. Okay, tribal doctors. Okay, the people who treat diseases also sometimes. Yes or no? Even now, many tribal societies have shamanism, animism. Yes? Is it making sense, sir? So this way, okay, then you write one more. Okay, so the Neolithic age also saw emergence of totemism. Third one, okay, three belief systems they have. Totemism. The last one is totem. Totemism, it is called as. Okay, totemism. Okay, so totemism, called as totemism. Okay, so totemism is in fact belief in, okay, totems. Totems are objects which are possessed by the spirit. Totems are objects possessed by spirit. Yes. Not inception. Okay, this is totem is okay. Okay, I understand your argument. Okay, totem is belief in, yes. Okay, so totem, that spinner you are talking about, yes. Okay, that is also a totem. Okay, totem is, okay, the object possessed by spirit. Object or symbol possessed by spirit is called as totem. Is it clear? Okay, in fact, from the Neolithic time itself, you see this emergence of totemism. Okay, totemism is the thing that one tree has spirit possessed to it. They will consider it as a sacred tree and a totem for the tribe. Some others consider some symbols like swastika is a totem. Swastika is originally a totem from Indus Valley civilization. Indus Valley civilization people believed in the totem of swastika. Okay, in fact, it is a representation of life cycle. This is also a totem, sir. Neolithic age, we see totemism, shamanism, animism, all of these things, they emerged during the Neolithic age, and they also believed in the concept of life after death. Is it clear? See, the tribal societies, they had a very unique conception of science, sir. whatever they cannot explain rationally or scientifically, they usually used to attribute them to animistic spirits. Disease is coming, okay, some bad spirit is at work. Many people are dying, bad spirit. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Crops are getting destroyed because of pest. This is also bad spirit. Are you getting this, sir? So this way, okay, so this way, totemism, animism, and okay, the belief in shamans. Okay, these are the belief systems of the Neolithic age. And Neolithic age, it is considered to be the foundational age for human society, because the human society, it evolved, okay, from the early stone ages to a proper settled and sedentary lifestyle, sir. Is it making sense? All right. So this is the Neolithic age society for us. So just see this. So you have written the sites, right? Utnur, Dawazali, Harding, all of them you have written. Now, Stone Age society is prehistorical period. Band society is the most predominant science. Bands are the people who are less than 100. Talked about it already. Then predominant occupation is hunting and gathering. So this is with respect to Paleo and Mesolithic age. Are you getting this, sir? Now, emergence of institution of family, primarily because of reproductive role of women, led to formation of family. Is it clear? So you write here extended infancy of human. Extended infancy. Okay, extended infancy is also a factor for emergence of family. Okay, I think I talked about it, right? Extended infancy. Okay, sometimes in human society we see people also dependent on their parents till their 30 years. Yes, there is also extended infancy in a kind. Yes, so one form of extended infancy is that. So you don't see in animal kingdom this kind of things. Yes, just I'm joking, okay, taking it seriously, but that is what is called as extended infancy. Okay, emergence of institution of family, reproductive role of women led to formation of family. People were nomadic. Tools were big stone tools and microliths, that is small stone tools. Then early stone age, totemism or animistic belief system, I talked about this. Then attributed sacredness to nature. Yes. Then animism and belief in presence of soul in every living form. Soul, spirit, animism is that. Then no clear difference between male and female. Okay, in fact there is no patriarchy here, sir. Okay, both male and female, they are equal in society, but they have different roles to play. Is it making sense? Okay, male and female are equal. Please write it down. So in stone ages, male and female are equal, but they have different roles to play in society. Male and female are equal, but they had different roles to play in. Is it all right, sir? Okay, so different roles to play in society. Okay, and they also tried to form a society which is egalitarian in nature. Okay, so egalitarian in nature means there is no social difference in this society. Huh? Dignity nahi, egalitarian. Egalitarian means everyone is equal. Yes, egalitarian society. The society is also egalitarian in its nature. Okay, egalitarian nature of society is one more aspect of the society. Okay, Neolithic age society. I think I talked about all these things based on domestication of plants and animals. I discussed about it. Then second one is emergence of settled form of society. So large tribal society started wherein the people or larger groups of more than 100. Band means less than 100. Okay, tribe means more than 100 people. Is it all right? Then after that, joint ownership of property, equal access to all resources, because it is egalitarian society. Now, apart from family, kin groups became important from Neolithic age. This is important, sir. Kin groups. Okay, kin groups became more important from Neolithic age. It's given there. Okay, so if you want, you can write it down. Kin groups are important from here. And in fact, whenever we study kin groups, there are two kinds of kin groups. One is known as affinal kin, and the second one is called as consanguineal kins. Okay, consanguineal kins are the people who are related by bloodline. Okay, affinal kins are the people who become relatives through marriage are known as affinal kins. Okay, you getting what I'm trying to say? Okay, for a person, okay, his relations from marriage are known as affinal kins. His relations by birth are known as consanguineal kins. Is it making sense? Okay, so are you understanding? I think fathers. So for a male person, okay, father side's relatives, all of them are father and mother side relatives who are blood related. They are all known as consanguineal kins. But through marriage, some kin group is created that is known as affinal kinship. So both the kin groups, they started evolving from the Neolithic age itself. Society also turned complex. It is called as Neolithic revolution. So as there is emergence of agriculture, usage of pottery, wheel transportation and pastoralism, all of them are developed here. And the tools which are used in Neolithic age are microliths and polished stone tools. Both of them are used. Okay, microliths usage, it did not stop. Okay, polished stone tools and microliths, both of them are used during this age. Okay, so in fact this is one artistic representation of the Neolithic age society. Okay, this diagram is not there. Okay, you can see it here. So it is a artistic representation. So in fact, even though the wheel is developed, the wheel is not a spoked wheel but a solid wheel. Are you understanding this? Okay, in fact, spoked wheel, it came to India only with the Aryans. Before that, we only had a solid wheel in India. Usually the solid wheel is very heavy and it is in fact very difficult to transport or move, okay, with the solid wheels. Whereas spoked wheels, it in fact creates more ease in transportation. But till the time of Indus Valley civilization, we only had solid wheel in India. Is it alright? Okay, wheel based transport means here it is solid wheel but not spoked wheel. Alright, number one. Number two is, this is the Neolithic age society. So in fact you see, okay, men and women are participating in agriculture activities. Okay, then along with that, can you see here querns, okay, stone quern, which is used to process the grain in order to cook food. Yes, okay, settlements like villages are present. Pastoralism, you can see the cows and other things here. So this is in fact an artistic depiction of the Neolithic age society, okay, which involves domestication, agriculture. Okay, so all of these things and settled lifestyle is also depicted here. So all of these things are part of the Neolithic age society. Is it making sense, sir? Now, apart from this, okay, so the next one is, please write it down, megalithic culture. I'll dictate here only the prominent sites of megalithic culture too. Write it down here only, megalithic culture. So when it comes to megalithic culture, okay, it is associated with Iron Age, and the most important sites are Adichallanuru, Maski, Hallur and Nagarjunakonda. These are the prominent sites, sir. Adichallanur, okay, Adichallanur is present in Tamil Nadu. Maski and Hallur are present in Karnataka. Nagarjunakonda is present in Andhra Pradesh. Okay, Nagarjunakonda in Andhra Pradesh, Maski and Hallur in Karnataka, and Adichallanuru in Tamil Nadu. Okay, these are the prominent megalithic sites, and it is also known for its black and red pottery, sir. Black and red pottery. Black and red pottery. It's known for its black and red pottery, and it is also known for its Iron Age. Okay, because iron tools and equipment were also used. And you write one more statement there. Megalithic age people, okay, megalithic age people used horses for transportation. Used horses for transportation. Okay, and their burials are marked with large stones. Okay, usually the stones, they look this way, sir. Okay, what these people do is, after the death of the person, they will bury him, and on top of it they will put a capstone this way. Okay, and on top of it they will put a stone here, this fashion. That is called topikallu. Okay, topikallu. Kallu means stone. Topi means, okay, top stone. Okay, topikallu. This way the burials usually look like. Is it making sense? Okay, so this is in fact this tradition, it continues in South India even today. Yes or no? Okay, because burial is the most prominent method of disposal in South of dead people. Okay, usually in North, most of the times it is based on what? Cremation, right? Okay, cremation is more prominent than burial, but in South of India we find burial more prominent than, okay, cremation. Okay, so disposing of the dead people, they will bury them, then on top of them, usually right now the tradition is erection of stone pillars on the dead body. Okay, so that is a burial custom. Okay, so stone pillars on the dead body is the burial custom currently. So it started with the megalithic burial culture, which is known as, this is called as topical. If you want to draw, you can draw it in your note. but not very important, but you write the name at least, it is known as topical. There are many types, but this is the most prominent one, topical, okay, of burial. Topical, okay, it is a burial tradition. Is it all right? Okay, so this finishes off the stone ages in human society. Okay, now next topic is, okay, the topic of Indus Valley civilization, but let's take a break for half an hour, then thereafter we'll continue with the Indus Valley civilization. So, and in the meanwhile, if possible, please take the printout of the handout. Okay. Megalithic, Neolithic and yes. Societal structure is primarily through paintings and pottery. Okay, particularly for Mesolithic age, we have a very important painting tradition in India, particularly in Bhimbetka. Okay, so where we see the paintings and carvings of these totems, okay, animism, okay, their lifestyle, hunting and gathering, all these things we derive from the painting tradition of theirs. Yes, and on pottery also these people used to carve the images. From them also we tend to know about them. All right, so pottery and wall paintings, these are the two things. Okay.